Hi, good evening. Thank you for tuning in for our Instagram Live tonight. My name is Anika, and my guest tonight is the German conceptual artist Andy Kassier, who currently is in South Africa producing videos. And there he is, he just joined the stream. Who's currently in South Africa producing new photos and video, exclusive material for his solo show on our Instagram channel. So let's invite Andy to the live stream. Oh, Andy, it says that you must upgrade your Instagram app so that I can invite you. Could you please quickly do an update that I can invite you, because it's otherwise I can't. Yes. And because you must upgrade the app in order to join. So please update and then add a comment so I know that you're ready. In the meantime, I can tell you a bit about Andy Kassier. Like mentioned before, he's a conceptual artist, and while he studied at the art school in Cologne, he started doing an Instagram performance, and he claimed to be a successful male entrepreneur, let's call it. And yeah, he made lots of money by no one knew what. He was always on holidays. He stayed at the best locations, had the best food, and so on and so on. Yeah, so he was successful like everyone else is successful on Instagram. And at some point, he realized that if you're working all the time and if you're alone all the time, that doesn't make you happy. So there he is. I can now invite him. Okay, yes. So let's see if it works. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
And where are you?
I'm in Hogsback in South Africa, actually.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But the weather isn't too good, is it?
No, it's super cloudy today. Like, because I'm on a mountain, it's actually like I'm in a cloud right now.
Ooh. Okay, so I already introduced you while you were upgrading your Instagram. So would you like to briefly introduce yourself? Who are you? What are you doing? Or what have you
Yeah,
been doing over the last, I think, when did you start your long-term performance successes? Just a smile away?
2013.
Oh, wow, that's like
So
nearly 10
like,
years.
yeah, it's 8 years. Crazy.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how did it start and what happened?
Like in the beginning, I realized there's Instagram and I was curious, and Facebook and all this stuff. And then I realized that there's a big gap between like how people are in real life and how they represent themselves online. And so I thought I'd just take it as it is and like work with it. So I basically started my Instagram account playing a role of a rich, successful, and famous guy, like a business guy. And this was, of course, like an ironic reflection of people on Instagram itself and how they represent themselves.
Okay, and I think like in the beginning, people believed you, right? They really thought, well, wow, this is a really successful businessman.
Yeah,
And at
there
some
were a
point,
lot of people.
and at some
Yeah.
point they realized it's an art project. I remember that one story you told me about the guy texting you because you weren't flying first class. What was the story again?
Mm. Yeah, like I mean, there were, of course, in the beginning there were more hate comments, which was really funny. And one was that like someone just commented, "Hey, you're so ugly just because you have so much money from your parents and stuff." And then there was this other guy who was uh, like a retail, like real estate agent from Vienna or something, and he was liking my post and really loved it and stuff. And then I posted a story where I was flying like economy class, and he was like completely out of it because he couldn't believe that I'm flying economy class and was kind of ranting about it. Yeah.
And did you say, "Oh well, I'm an art student," or whatever you were back in the days?
No, I didn't tell him, but I just told him that, like I can fly whatever I want, and so and for me it doesn't make a difference, I'd rather spend my money on something else. But I guess then like at some point he realized it, and then it was really funny because he said that um actually if I'm in Vienna he can help me to find like good locations and stuff.
Oh wow, that's sweet. Yeah, because I mean that was also part of your art practice. I mean, trying to find like really good location with actually spending like sort of zero money. How did you do that,
Hmm.
and where did you shoot, for example?
Like I shoot a lot of stuff in South Africa. I mean, I still do specifically because of there's so much diverse nature and so much really nice nature reserved and all this stuff. And the other point is that I just use my network, like people that have, for example, fancy cars or know someone that has a fancy car or that are having good locations. And then in the end, it's also, I mean, I started as a photographer. So basically, it's really interesting to find a perspective or like of a location that looks good, even if the location in the end isn't that special. But it's yeah, it's all about like the right light and finding the perspective in the location to make it look good.
And you've just mentioned that you are a photographer. I've introduced you as a conceptual artist because I know that you also call that yourself. I mean, what would you call yourself? I mean, some people say that artists like you who are active on Instagram are Instagram artists. And I mean, but you're sort of like not really an Instagram artist, even though you use a medium because you work like a photographer. You take all the time you need to produce one photo. Um, so yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's really interesting actually. I don't know if it's easy for me to put me in like a box that fits for it, but what I was meaning basically was that I definitely started as a photographer and taking self-portraits, but it definitely went the way of conceptual art, using photography and then also exploring other mediums like sculptures and installations and now also paintings. And yeah.
Yeah, you're now a painter, and so how did that come about? I mean, there happened something in between, and then you started painting. I mean, can you tell us a little bit what happened in
Yeah,
the last 2 years?
yeah, on Instagram, the narrative of my business guy kind of evolved. So he had like a big breakdown and went into the ocean and then disappeared for half a year. And then he came back and he was kind of slowed down and interested in spirituality, meditation, and yoga, and like was starting the path of finding himself. And in this context, he also found painting interesting, but painting as a kind of art therapy.
Mhm.
So this is how he started painting.
And do you have some paintings you could show us, or can
Yeah,
you show us a bit of nature, a bit of South Africa?
yeah, I can definitely show you like this where I actually paint. You can see the fog
Oh
now. It's
wow,
like really, really foggy.
that's
But usually
foggy.
I paint here, and also coming back to this interesting part of where we're talking about locations. I mean, you see how it looks now, but this is actually the location where I shot my introduction video,
Oh yeah.
and now you can see how it looks like when it's just like foggy and cloudy. Um, yeah, that's how it is.
So can you show us your painting again, please?
Yeah, I can, of
And
course.
then the interesting story about your painting, I guess, is still the color pink. I mean, I curated a group show titled Link in Bio Art After Social Media, and you were part of the group show. And on the night of the opening, you've done a performance, and like you sort of told me for 1 year prior to that opening that you would start painting. And like every time we met, you were like, yeah, yeah, sure, I'll start painting next week. And I was like, okay, but what are you going to paint? You were like, I'll just start painting next week. And I trusted you. And then on the day of the opening, you had a surprise. What was that? Can you share that with
Yeah,
our
I
listeners?
basically used this pink, which is like it's the artist Stuart Sample from the UK, like brought out this pink. I now have it in another glass, but it's like the pinkest pink you can have.
Mm.
And yeah, I use it as a pigment and then I mix it with white, and then you have this amazing pink glow in these paintings.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful. So you spend your days painting in South Africa right now?
yeah, I do. I really just paint here, and I'm also taking pictures for the exhibition that's ongoing now.
Exactly. We're going to start sharing images and videos next week. I've seen some very interesting and surprising footage today. I think we're not going to share this right now to not ruin the
Mm-mm.
surprise. It's crazy. Yeah, so the title of your exhibition, Love Yourself So That You Can Love Others, right?
Mm.
So what was the idea here and how does it, I mean, you've just mentioned that there's a narrative behind your long-term performance and the narrative sort of changes with, let's call it trends on Instagram. I mean, in that sense, if one can say that you're an Instagram artist because you observe trends and then your narrative sort of follows these trends. Yeah. So how does that work with your solo show now?
I have the feeling in general it is like the trend on Instagram is to like trying to not be fake anymore, kind of, like, and then people are trying to show authenticity, like whatever that means for them, and sharing their emotions, sharing their like ups and downs and stuff like this. And in the context of my exhibition now, it's in this narrative that the person who is interested in spirituality now basically goes deeper and like is looking for the root of his problems, like what is the root for the need for success, and then he figures out his root, and he basically figures out that there's only one solution to get healing for himself, which is like self-love. And yeah.
And you're going to tell that story with your photos and videos. I mean, can we spoil a little bit what people are going to see? I
um
mean, can you? I mean, I think we can share one or two of the upcoming photos, right?
hmm
The
yeah, I
bathtub
guess.
story.
Yeah, like today I was thinking about that there are actually to self-love, there are a lot of things you can do, and I'll probably make it like a list. Like the post will be like a list for how to love yourself more. And there definitely is a part where you have to forgive yourself and like think about what you have done wrong in your past, and kind of like cutting the past out of your life so you can go on with the future. And also with the bathtub, you said this is about taking time for yourself, and actually yeah, it's kind of like going on dates with yourself without needing someone else, like taking time for yourself without distraction. And in the bathtub, it's like there's nothing better than being alone in the bathtub and taking time for yourself, but I have the feeling for a lot of people it's really difficult to like live life without distractions, because they will be forced to have their own emotions, like, and feel their emotions. And I think this can be really, really difficult, especially when you had like a traumatic childhood or stuff like this.
So it's all about healing. It's all about regaining your strength. It's about, yeah, finding your inner peace through yoga and meditation. And South Africa sounds like the perfect place to find your inner peace.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like, which better place can you be than being in nature to finding peace with yourself?
And can you share? I mean, you've already told me about some of the awesome location we're going to see. I'm sort of like really jealous because I'm at home in my apartment and we're still in lockdown, and yeah, it's not that interesting in my living room. So what are we going to see from you?
Yeah, the bathtub will definitely be a bathtub next next to a cliff. So it's basically a bathtub on a cliff, and you have an amazing view from this bathtub. And I'm trying to get a lot of flowers because I love flowers. So it's
Mhm.
basically bathing in flowers. I think that would be really amazing. And
Brilliant.
yeah, of course, I will definitely paint and I'll work with my paintings in a surprising way, but I can't tell more now. And
It's really crazy.
yeah, also of course yoga, meditation. Um, yeah, maybe I'll try, who knows? Let's see what comes out of my emotions.
Yeah, you're on an emotional journey, like a deep dive into, I don't know, your emotional life. And what about your paintings? I mean, we've just can you briefly show them again in case people join us later? Um, I mean, since you're painting like every day, um, are you always painting that same thing because it's sort of like a meditation, or is your businessman who's suddenly a painter or a creative or an artist? I mean, does he try to like be a better painter?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely it's definitely evolving. So this background is always the starting point, and from there on, it goes on and on. So there will be different things on this background, but the background will be the same, I guess. But this is the starting point. I mean, also last year, uh, I I started with palm trees, and there will also be palm trees be involved, but also other things. Um, we will see.
Oh yeah, you had a solo show. I think that was last year during Berlin Art Week, was it, and Gallery Weekend combined. And the
Hmm.
title of your solo show was Palm Down, right?
Yes.
And you had an installation and you've done a performance. You were painting like every day. And can you tell us a little bit? Because I mean, that's we've just touched the topic of being an Instagram artist. I mean, you're sort of like an Instagram artist, but not really. Also, what would that even mean? Like yesterday, someone said, I don't know what was that, but that was a really funny comparison. Oh yeah, if you're a musician and if your music is on Spotify, are you a Spotify musician? I mean,
Hmm.
that doesn't make any sense actually. So, I mean, yeah, and on Instagram there are your photos, there's your long-term performance, there's Instagram stories. Sometimes you do an Instagram live, but then you sort of appear as your real self, as the conceptual artist Andy Kassier. And when you do shows in museum and galleries, you work with installation. And I mean, most people think, oh, okay, he does photos on Instagram, and when he does a show in a museum or a gallery, he just prints his Instagram. But that's not what you do. Can you please tell people what they can see from you in an exhibition, like Palms Down in Berlin?
Yeah, when I do an exhibition like in the physical world, I'll try to bring the narrative and the persona to a real space. So I do room installations that are kind of working like crime scenes. So either I'm in this room and doing performance, or if I'm not there, there will be a lot of objects that are kind of giving you the idea of how the person is, or giving you like parts of his character, and you can like combine the pieces and figure out more about the person. So the exhibitions are like room installations and printed photographs, which are not the same images as on Instagram, because there's different images, bigger pictures with bigger cameras, but basically in the same field and representing the same persona. And what I did last year in Berlin was the exhibition Palm Down, where I had like kind of two spaces where I was like switching in between. One was a home office installation, and I did a performance where I was in the home office doing Zoom calls, like having a suit on top and just my boxer shorts on the bottom, because it's still like home office time. And then after an hour, I like break out of this routine because I want to be creative. The business guy wants to break out of his routine. And then I change into my painting outfit and I go out on the street, and we had like a sand hill, like 1 meter high in the middle of Berlin. And I painted there. Just got on the sand hill, and then I painted palm trees upside down. So the business guy starts painting, and he paints a lot, and he tries to have meaning in his painting. So he paints his palm trees upside down because the palm trees are the symbol of the paradise, and it's upside down. The paradise upside down because there's so much stuff going on in this world that's like wrong, and you kind of don't know anymore what's right to do. Like, are you flying to Thailand for vacation? That's bad for the nature and is polluting the world. But if you're not flying, people might starve because they are living from tourism. So it's really, really hard. It's like it's like a dead end that the first world navigated itself in, kind of.
And maybe because you just mentioned crime scene, I've just spoke about the museum I curated at the Museum of Fine Arts in Leipzig, where you were a part of, and you sort of created an 80s kind of style living room, and it reminded me of American Psycho. It looked like, the living room of, what's his name? Bateman. What's his?
Patrick Bateman.
Patrick Bateman. Yeah, can you briefly describe that one?
Yeah, I really love American Psycho, especially for the idea of that success is everything, and that you're just playing status games, and it's more important how your business card looks like than who you are without your job. So American Psycho for me is really inspiring in this sense, and my room installations are kind of always having an 80s vibe, because I have the feeling the persona I play is like stuck in time. He might evolve now a bit, but I don't know if he will change his furniture, or it might take a while. But the installation in Leipzig for me was very, very like a shift, like a shifting installation, like the old school office style. But then I'm in the middle of my living room and I'm painting, and of course is everything is getting dirty there, and if you're Patrick Bateman, you don't want anything to get dirty. So this is like a breaking point for him.
It was all beautifully white, right?
Yes.
It was so clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And someone just left a comment and said, "Success is everything." Do you still agree?
Of course I can agree, but I think the interesting point about this is more the question, like, what does success mean to you? Like, is it financial success? Is it like being successful because you're good with yourself? Like, is it success because you actually enjoy what you're doing? Is it success because you're having a good life? That's the question.
And maybe you will get an answer next week when we start sharing your photos and videos. We can, I think, let people know how we do it. So, like, your exhibition is on for 4 weeks, and it's on view on the Instagram channel OÖ Art, and we're going to share 3 photos each week from Monday to Wednesday, photos and videos, and yeah, where you enjoy trying to find your inner peace through yoga, meditation, painting, and I think you're also going to do sports, right? You're very sporty. You get up early in the morning and go for a run at the beach also.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay, let's see if people... Does anyone have a question? If yes, please type it in the comments now or use the question. Put the question mark, the button. Otherwise, there's no question. What is the difference? Oh, here we do. What is the difference? Oh yeah, that's interesting. What is the difference of the process when you generate content versus conventional Instagrammers? So what's the difference between you as an artist and influencers? I think that's the question.
I mean, I as an artist, like, I follow my concept, and this is the most important thing. So whatever I do is really connected to the concept, and I work on this, and this is the most important thing. And I guess as an influencer, you're focused on, of course, your branding. I mean, I do this as well, but also you're connected to the brand you're working for. So they probably and definitely have something to say about what you do and how it should look, and how like the product or whatever is supposed to be presented in your content. And that's the biggest difference between it, I guess.
We do have another question from Grillenfänger. Okay. Hey, Andy, last time we saw you, you planned to do something with plexiglass for an exhibition. Then the pandemic came, and not only the exhibition was cancelled, but also there was a huge amount of plexiglass dividers. Oh, So what were you planning to do with plexiglass?
What I usually do with acrylic glass is I make fortune cookies out of them.
Yeah, true. Oh, you planned to do a huge fortune cookie, I remember, but then the
Yeah,
exhibition got cancelled and now it's a painting show at König Gallery, which opens on March 18th in Berlin.
yeah, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out someone that can make huge acrylic glass cookies, like huge, like 1 meter or something.
I mean, yeah,
But
that was the problem. You really try to find
hmm,
someone who can make like a, I mean, how big was that fortune cookie supposed to be? Like one
it's
meter
supposed to
50 or
be, yeah, 1 meter, like when it's finished. But if you start with it, it
mm.
has to be like a 2 meter circle, and it's really hard to handle this much material without scratching it, especially because it's so delicate.
So yeah, it wasn't like a problem of if we can or if Andy can get plexiglass. The big problem was that you couldn't find anyone who could sort of like heat the plexiglass and then fold it because yeah, it needs to be heated so that you can um, work with it and that. So if someone knows someone who can help here, Andy wants a one meter high fortune cookie.
Yeah, that would be great.
So Grilly, did that answer your question? I think so, and I think we don't have any more questions. Then yeah, we can say goodbye and you can go back to painting.
Yes, I will.
Okay. So thank you for your time, and please everyone check out Andy Kassier's solo show on the Instagram channel of OÖ Art. We start sharing exclusive photos and videos. Andy right now produces in South Africa for us from Monday on. Applause. People say thank you. Thank you for your time. Everyone, thank you for your time, Andy.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And see you soon. Bye bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.